Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. I want you to know that you're greatly appreciated. The Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. Now, with less than 24 hours to go for the formal certification of the Electoral College vote by Congress, I can tell you that politics is playing a major role. The one thing I've learned covering all of this news, and the one thing I've learned with all my experiences dealing with a lot of business owners, dealing with a lot of politicians. I've dealt with a lot of congressmen and senators when I was building my own business. Now my business is run on autopilot. The one thing I can tell you is that when it comes to politicians, there are two things that matter more than anything else. The first is timing. Yes, for politicians, all the decisions they make are all about timing. They need to time it at the exact right time so they can get maximum leverage out of it. And that leads me to the second point, opportunity. Sometimes the timing is right, but they don't have the opportunity. And other times they have an opportunity, but then the timing is never right. Everything in politics is about timing and it is about opportunity. If the timing is right and if the opportunity is right, then the same senator will say two different things that are completely contradictory. We've seen this happen from Senator Lindsey Graham. We've seen this happen from Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, who once called the President of the United States a sniveling coward. Yes, by the way, I don't even know how they come up with these kinds of phrases, but Ted Cruz called the President of the United States a sniveling coward. And keep in mind that he said that, again, this is a senator from the state of Texas who called President Trump a sniveling coward. Now, Ted Cruz wanted to defend Team Trump if the case went, if the election allegations, if the election fraud case went to the Supreme Court, which is not going to go. And then Ted Cruz is now going to be formally objecting to the electoral college certification in possibly more than one states. It's been reported that he's going to object in the state of Pennsylvania. He's going to object for Arizona as well. This would delay the formal certification of the electoral college votes for President-elect Biden. So you can see, and by the way, these two are not the only ones. Senator Marco Rubio from Florida said one thing about President Trump and now says another. So this is a very common occurrence. Now, one really interesting senator who essentially side by side with Senator Bernie Sanders, the independent from Vermont. One really interesting senator is Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri. He was in support of the $2,000 stimulus checks, and my understanding is he still is. But the really interesting thing about him is he's going to object to the electoral college certification process, and he has been joined by about 12 other senators. So there are about a dozen Republican senators who are going to be objecting to the electoral college certification of President-elect Joe Biden. But what I find really interesting are the comments that Senator Josh Hawley made in the past about contesting the electoral college vote and what he said now. Now, we'll provide you with a link to a video that I'm about to show you in the description section below, because this other outlet did an excellent job essentially comparing his comments in the past with where he is right now. And I'll let you watch this segment from Senator Josh Hawley, what he said before and what he said now when it comes to contesting the electoral college count and essentially what's at stake for our democracy. Let's roll the tape and check out what Senator Josh Hawley, Republican from Missouri, had to say in the past and now, and how the two statements contradict each other. And then I want you to answer the question, is this about timing and is this about opportunity? Because when the timing is right, when the opportunity is right, I think opinions change just like that. I'll let you be the judge for yourself. Let's roll the tape and compare Josh Hawley, Republican senator from Missouri's comments in the past and what he said recently. Let's watch.
Again, talking about how elections can't be trusted, that's an interesting approach. You've got 74 million Americans who feel disenfranchised, who feel like their vote doesn't matter. I think it's crazy, frankly. I mean, somebody has to stand up here.
Consequences to the republic.
Yeah.
If this were allowed to pass.
Yeah. Well, my view is that the consequences to the republic of overturning a democratic election because you don't like the result and because you believe that election was somehow corrupted, when in fact the evidence shows that it was not. Their basic argument is you cannot trust elections. you cannot trust the democratic process, so we need to overturn the last one. It's really, I was surprised by that. I did not anticipate that, and I think it's really an extraordinary series of comments. Again, talking about how elections can't be trusted, that's an interesting approach. I think it's crazy, frankly, and we'll see. I'll be interested to see how they unspool that. You've got 74 million Americans who feel disenfranchised, who feel like their vote doesn't matter, and this is the one opportunity that I have as a United States Senator. This process right here, my one opportunity to stand up and say something, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is my opportunity to stand up and say something, to stand up and point out that there were irregularities in this election, that there was fraud. Nobody disputes that, by the way. Again, talking about how elections can't be trusted, that's an interesting approach. I think it's crazy, frankly, and we'll see. I'll be interested to see how they unspool that.
Now, I want to be clear, while there are some senators who are objecting, who are going to object, and I believe the most recent numbers were 13 Republican senators objecting, there are Republican senators who are simply not going to object, and I did cover some of them in a previous video, but here's an interesting one. Senator Kevin Cramer, who's a Republican from North Dakota, said today on MSNBC that reaching his conclusion to endorse President-elect Biden's victory. So in other words, he's going to endorse it. He's not going to oppose it. Okay. So Kevin Cramer said that reaching that decision was, I'm quoting him, a brutal episode because the majority of his constituents in North Dakota wanted him to oppose the certification. And I'm quoting what Kevin Cramer said. He said, it wasn't an easy emotional decision. He said he would never want to see a situation where senators from other states were trying to disenfranchise individuals from North Dakota. In other words, he's saying, as a representative of North Dakota, I don't want to disenfranchise voters in other states, just like I don't want voters in other states to disenfranchise the citizens and the residents of my state. Pretty interesting comments. And he said it wasn't an easy emotional decision. And he said, I'm quite comfortable with it. Now, I want to be clear, there are some other senators who are essentially keeping their cards close to their chest. We don't know what they're going to do tomorrow because they haven't publicly commented on what they're going to do. So Chuck Grassley, senior Republican from Iowa, and Marco Rubio, who I mentioned earlier from Florida, Todd Young from Indiana, they have not made any comments, any public comments about what they are likely to do in the next 24 hours when Congress meets to certify the results, the Electoral College results in favor of President-elect Biden. Now, I want our viewers and subscribers to know that every state that receives an objection from one House member and one senator requires a 2-hour floor debate followed by a vote on that challenge. So if there's an objection, which we know there will be, then there'll be a 2-hour debate followed by a vote on that challenge. That means that we'll see at least 3 debates and votes tomorrow because we do know that 3 states are going to be contested, which means we are going to see 6 hours of debates. This is going to be a national spectacle. This is going to rally the base for President Trump. This is going to get a lot of people charged up and say our democracy is at stake. And this is going to be a long, drawn-out affair tomorrow. So there's a clear division within the Republican Party because different people are reacting differently. Some people are coming out in opposition of the certification. Some individuals are supporting it. Some individuals are not not commenting. Like I mentioned, Chuck Grassley and Marco Rubio, among others. But what is the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's position? What is his position in all of this? The Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell warned his Republican colleagues that the maneuver tomorrow would be, I quote, a terrible vote, but he's not actively whipping against it. Now, he's going to personally be against the effort to overturn the results. So personally, he's not going to support the effort, but he is encouraging members to follow their conscience. Now, meanwhile, what is the president saying about all this? As you can imagine, the president is super happy with senators who are opposing the Electoral College certification process. Here's a tweet on your screen from the President of the United States. Pleased to announce that Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue have joined the campaign and they will fight the ridiculous Electoral College certification of Biden. Pretty incredible comments from President Trump. And finally, here's a quote from Republican Senator from Arkansas, Tom Cotton, and he said, Congress would take away the power to choose the president from the people and place it in the hands of whichever party controls Congress. This action essentially would end our tradition of democratic presidential elections, empowering politicians and party bosses in Washington. Unbelievable. Guys, normally the electoral college certification by Congress is a boring affair. Almost nobody talks about it, but this is unbelievable, and these are unusual times that we live in. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You'll find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video right here. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. On this channel, the Ignition Time channel, it's not important whether you're red or blue. For me, it's not about the red or the blue, it's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm American. We are all Americans first. You'll get different types of information on this channel. You're not going to get the regular kinds of information. You're going to get information that's important to the country, because we do need to understand how the country works. That in turn impacts the economy, and by extension, this impacts our money. On this channel, you'll hear about the country, the economy, and about our money. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. Please get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time, and send that to 70,000. That's 70000. You'll get added to our SMS alerts list moving forward. You can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you'll get added to our email list going forward. You can opt out of the SMS list or the email list at any point in time that you want. Stay in touch with us via the SMS list or the email list. You'll get important news and alerts if you're on our SMS list and on our email list. So definitely make sure you stay in touch via SMS or via email. You'll also get information about any programs that we might release in the future. Now, keep in mind that YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. Sometimes YouTube sends out the notifications late. So all I ask you to do is simply go to youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then you'll be able to bookmark the homepage of our channel and then visit the homepage of our channel and watch the videos anytime you want. This way you're not dependent on notifications and you're not going to miss a single video, which is important. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So please follow us on Instagram. You'll get important information specifically for our Instagram community. Speaking of community, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. It's the same handle as Instagram. You'll get breaking news and alerts from us on Twitter. One of the incredible things about the growth of our channel has been the growth of our community. I encourage you to comment below. You'll make some new friends. We are a bipartisan, we are an intelligent, we are a respectful, we are a growing community. So engage with our community. You might make some new friends. Also, please share this video with just 2 friends or family members. Just share this video with 2 friends or family members. That would mean a lot to me personally. As always, you'll get a link to all of our resources in the description section below. So make sure you check out our description section. And finally, please ignite the subscribe button. Please ignite the like button. I would really appreciate that, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. Don't forget to enable notifications so that YouTube does send you reminders when we release content. I'll do anything for a like. If you want, I'll do one of my dances. Now, I guess I'm an average dancer, but seriously, I would really appreciate it if you click the like button. Once again, please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me. If you click like, I get into party mode. And it's almost like there's confetti for me everywhere when you click the like button. I would really appreciate that. Guys, let me be completely honest. Just because some of us have started to get the $600 stimulus checks, it does not mean that it's raining money. What it means is, it's a lesson essentially for us that we should never, ever be dependent on the government again. And that is where I will lead you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thanks. Bye.